Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about what I would like to see from Dungeons & Dragons in 2021. So first, I just want to say this has been a thread through many D&D commentators that have been talking about this. The best one I saw was Nerd Immersion. He did a great capture of what he wanted from Dungeons & Dragons in 2021. There's a couple other commentators that did it. There's so much D&D commentary that's just utter nonsense. Just a lot of bad ideas. One doing like, here's how to make an optimal build. That's all, in my opinion, trash D&D commentating that really is not needed in any way. But this was great. This was really good. A lot of people were like saying some great ideas. Nerd Immersions was the best. I think the WebDM guys did one. Every single one of these videos I saw was just gold content that I love listening to, and I'm really glad to see that D&D commentating is starting to pick up some really good trends. Not all the D&D commentating out there is nonsense. There's a lot of good stuff from a lot of great D&D commentators. All right, so what do I want from Dungeons & Dragons in 2021? So first and foremost, setting. I want settings. I want core setting rule books, real ones, right? And just like Nerd Immersion said, I'll give him credit for this, ones that people actually want, right? So basically, what should we get that we don't have, right? The biggest one is Dark Sun. I think a lot of people really want Dark Sun. I would love to see a 5th edition Dark Sun core setting book, right? The other thing is Faerun as a core setting book. It's been mentioned in a lot of books, but it's never been really, stop beating around the bush and just call it what it is. This is Faerun, this is Forgotten Realms. Let's get a Forgotten Realms source book. I would love to see that. And here's my pick, Rokugan. And you're like, wait, what Rokugan? Yeah, I would like to see Rokugan come back, right? That's a Japanese-inspired Dungeons & Dragons setting. Now, you're like, whoa, D&D settings based on actual countries is a real problem. It was, without a doubt. Oriental Adventure should have never been called that, right? Rokugan was a very honorable setting, and it did a much better job than Oriental Adventures, right? You can't call setting Oriental Adventures anymore, right? For many reasons, right? But you absolutely could do a new Rokugan, and the way you would do it is you would hire some native Japanese. They speak Japanese, they speak American. Get the design lead to be Japanese. Make sure that 51% of the design team is Japanese creators, Japanese Americans, or just Japanese citizens who actually can speak English, because I do think the book needs to be written in English. Dungeons & Dragons, that's never happened. We've never had a Dungeons & Dragons game that had a native release first. It doesn't make commercial sense. So I do think they, even if they're Japanese, they still need to speak English and to be able to write in English, right? And so just because Dungeons & Dragons is an American company, it's an American product, there's not enough support in Japan right now to make that the primary base of release. Just can't do it. But I would love to see Rokugan as a new game. What else would I like to see? Well, one of the things I would like to see is not one single thing for combat in 2021, right? Only builds that increase a player's ability to explore and to interact. And the reason why is the game is massively unbalanced toward combat. We have enough books, we have enough material for how to do damage, right? We don't need another word written for at least 3 years for 5th edition. All exploration, all interaction. If you read the rule book, it says the 3 pillars of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition are exploration, interaction, and combat. It's brilliant. It's the core of the game. I love it. I think it's one of the best things Mike Merle ever brought forward. I just love that aspect of the game, that and just reminding people, hey, combat's only 1/3 of this game. So why don't you get your head away from DPS for 5 minutes and play, right? Like, this is really about exploration. This is really about interaction. Start exploring, start interacting with your character. And if the majority of your character, I had a player, I no longer have him. I tried to keep this guy in my game, but he would give me incredibly robust builds, and I'm like, what is the name of this character? And they're like, oh, I didn't figure that out. I'm like, you spent 4 hours on this. You don't know what the character's name is? Like, come on. Interaction, right? It's part of the game. Exploration is part of the game. It's rough. It's rough to see, to see this. And so you really need, I would really like to see books an entire book on exploration, an entire book on interaction, and those aspects of the game. I also definitely would like to see 2, right? I would love to see PHB 2, DMG 2, Monster Manual 2, right? And you're like, wait, Scott, what about balance, right? Balance is gone, people. I don't know if you know it, but like y'all's best believe, Tasha's Cauldron destroyed game balance. Absolutely destroyed game balance. And you know what? I'm totally okay with that. I was never a slave to balance in the game. I don't need it. I'm a good dungeon master. I know that whatever nonsense your player character is doing, I can bring 3 NPCs up that'll do twice as much, right? It ain't no thing, right? So it's really not a problem for good game masters, but balance is gone, right? So I'd really love to see PHB 2, DMG 2, MM 2, right? And call them that, man. Like, just, pull the cork. Let's get it all, right? And I would just be so thrilled. Also, I would love to see a D&D light. An actual, so what would be a D&D light where the entire game fits in one book that is 99 pages long and is distinctly, massively different than Dungeons & Dragons. A game designed to run very fast and absolutely abandon a ton of crunch, right? For a more narrative, explosive, exciting, dramatic game, right? I would really love to see that. It would really be important to me. I would just be so thrilled if we could get that. I just would love it. And and I'm hoping we can. Overall, I will say right now, I'm absolutely thrilled with what Hasbro Gaming was able to accomplish with Dungeons & Dragons in 2020. I think Hasbro Gaming had an absolutely spectacular year with 2020. I loved Tasha's Cauldron. I think it was a great book. I'm really excited about it. I am just really, really super excited about what's happening next. Just really, really thrilled. So I definitely would really like to see this stuff go forward. And that is what I want for Dungeons & Dragons in 2021. What about you? What do you want to see for Dungeons & Dragons in 2021? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.